In a world where nearly 85% of people globally struggle with issues related to self-esteem and self-respect, the quest to truly value ourselves has never been more urgent or important. According to the Body Shop's Global Self-Love Index, which surveyed 22,000 adults across 21 countries, about 1 in 2 individuals experience more self-doubt than genuine self-love. Even in the United States, ranked among the highest-scoring nations, the average self-love score hovers around just 61 out of 100, showing there's room for growth in how we treat ourselves and demand respect from others. These numbers are not just statistics. They represent millions of lives caught in cycles of undervaluing their own worth, often leading to increased anxiety, depression, and harmful behaviors. But self-respect is foundational, not just for mental health, but for the very way we navigate life's challenges. It shapes our choices, our relationships, our careers, and ultimately our happiness. Without it, we risk settling for less than we deserve, tolerating disrespect, or losing sight of who we truly are. The good news is self-respect is a skill that can be learned, nurtured, and strengthened every day. Take legendary civil rights leader Rosa Parks, for example. Her quiet but firm refusal to give up her bus seat in 1955 wasn't merely an act of political defiance, it was a profound expression of self-respect. She confronted systemic disrespect head-on, inspiring a movement and earning global admiration. Across history, countless figures, from Nelson Mandela's unwavering dignity during apartheid imprisonment to Maya Angelou's empowering poems about self-worth, demonstrate that respecting oneself is the root of commanding respect from others. In this video, we'll explore 15 powerful ways to cultivate self-respect and earn the respect you deserve. These methods are grounded in psychology, real-world evidence, and lessons drawn from both everyday people and celebrated figures. They will teach you how to stop begging others for validation, confront disrespect immediately, and present the best version of yourself to the world. We'll also dive into how to protect your time, set strong boundaries, invest in your growth, and celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem. Imagine waking up each day with calm confidence, no longer sacrificed at the altar of approval. Picture relationships where mutual respect is a given, not a struggle. See yourself living a life aligned with your values and empowered choices. This path is not reserved for a lucky few. It is accessible to everyone willing to commit and apply these principles. As we journey through these lessons, remember that every step toward greater self-respect is a step away from the shadow of self-doubt and emotional hardship. With over 42% of heavy social media users reporting increased anxiety, partly tied to comparison culture, reclaiming your sense of worth in a noisy world has become an essential act of self-care. Let's take this transformative journey together, starting with the first 3 keys to respecting yourself. Stopping the exhausting cycle of begging others for approval, learning to confront disrespect immediately before it erodes your dignity, and embracing the power of always looking and feeling your best. Not for vanity, but as a statement of self-love and seriousness about your worth. Each of these pillars sets the stage for a resilient, empowered life where respect flows naturally from within and radiates outward. Welcome to a new chapter of self-respect and empowerment. Your journey begins now. Stop begging others for validation. It sounds simple, but breaking free from the desperate need for others' approval is one of the most profound and challenging transformations you can undertake. Constantly seeking validation can trap you in a cycle of self-doubt, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. A 2025 global survey revealed that nearly 60% of adults report feeling a lack of confidence stemming from needing others' approval. And in the US, anxiety related to social comparison rose by 40% over the past 5 years. The impact is real, affecting mental health, relationships, and your ability to live authentically. Why do we crave validation so deeply? Humans are wired for connection and belonging. Evolutionarily, approval from others increased survival chances by integrating us into social groups. Psychologists Richard Ryan and Edward Dici's self-determination theory explains that we require autonomy, competence, and relatedness to flourish. When our sense of competence depends on external approval, we undermine our autonomy, becoming vulnerable to a fragile self. That fragility means our sense of worth swings wildly with praise or criticism, leaving us emotionally at others' mercy. Take the story of Marilyn Monroe, one of the most iconic figures of the 20th century. Behind her glamorous public persona was a woman deeply insecure and dependent on external validation from fans, lovers, and the media. Despite fame and adoration, Monroe struggled with depression born from feeling unseen and unworthy on her own terms. She famously said, "If you can make a girl laugh, you can make her do anything." Yet beneath the laughter was a profound longing for self-respect. Her life reminds us that external validation alone cannot fill the void within. Breaking the habit of begging for approval begins with awareness. Notice when you change your behavior, opinions, or appearance just to please others. How many decisions are motivated by fear of judgment rather than authentic desire? For example, Sarah, a marketing professional, found herself obsessively refreshing emails for praise on her work. Her moods fluctuated based on responses, leaving her exhausted. Recognizing this pattern was the first step toward freedom. Next, cultivate internal validation, learning to affirm yourself independently of others' opinions. Start by acknowledging your achievements and qualities daily. Practice gratitude journaling focused on your strengths and progress. This rewires your brain to value internal feedback. Celebrate small wins and remind yourself, "I am enough," even without external applause. It's also vital to redefine your relationship with criticism. Instead of fearing disapproval, view feedback as information for growth rather than judgment of your worth. Remember Maya Angelou's wisdom: if you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. Authenticity invites vulnerability, but ultimately earns deeper, more meaningful respect. Building self-trust takes time, supported by consistent action. When you say what you think and set boundaries without apology, you reaffirm respect for yourself. This echoes the timeless courage of Rosa Parks, whose refusal to give up her seat was a powerful act of self-respect and rejection of societal judgment. Parks' stand wasn't just political, it was personal, a statement that she would not beg for dignity that she inherently deserved. Understand that breaking free from external validation is not about isolation or arrogance. It's about becoming your own source of truth and worthiness. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your authenticity, not just your achievements or conformity. Seek communities where you feel safe to be yourself fully. Research supports this approach. Individuals with higher self-validation scores report lower anxiety and depression rates. A 2023 study found that increasing internal validation by 15% correlates with a 25% improvement in overall well-being. This isn't theory, it's practical and achievable. In daily life, practice saying no when something conflicts with your values, even if you fear disapproval. Stand firm in your decisions, knowing you deserve respect without constant negotiation. Resist the urge to seek constant reassurance. Instead, pause, breathe, and reaffirm your worth silently. The path away from begging for approval is challenging but liberating. It shifts power back into your hands and opens the door to genuine confidence, peace, and deeper relationships. Life's most resilient and successful people share one trait: they stopped asking for permission to be themselves. Begin today by observing your need for validation and responding with kindness and patience toward yourself. Replace "do they approve?" with "do I honor myself?" Over time, this inner dialogue becomes your foundation for lasting self-respect and the magnetic respect of others. Remember, you are enough already. You don't need to beg for respect or approval. You are inherently worthy. The moment you embrace this truth, you reclaim your freedom and ignite your power to live fully and authentically. Confront disrespect immediately, the moment it happens, because allowing even small instances to slide can chip away at your self-worth and invite more disrespect in the future. This principle isn't simply about standing your ground. It's a powerful act of self-respect and emotional empowerment that transforms how others perceive and treat you. Research shows that people who address disrespect assertively experience higher self-esteem and less interpersonal conflict. According to a 2024 psychological study, Individuals who confront disrespect tend to report a 30% decrease in chronic stress and anxiety, underscoring the deep impact of this practice on mental health. But confronting disrespect is easier said than done. The impulse to avoid conflict, fear of retaliation, or worry about hurting relationships often keeps people silent. Yet history is rich with stories of those who stood firm and changed the course of their lives, and sometimes the world, through confronting disrespect courageously. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, who in 2012 was targeted simply for advocating girls' education in Pakistan. When the Taliban sought to silence her, Malala did not back down, but confronted the disrespect and danger head-on. Her courage earned global respect and sparked a worldwide movement for education and equality. This example shows that confronting disrespect isn't about aggression. It's about asserting your dignity and values boldly, even in the face of great risk. Psychologists emphasize the importance of assertive communication in this process. Assertiveness is the balance between passive avoidance and aggressive confrontation, enabling you to express your feelings and set boundaries respectfully and clearly. Mel Robbins, author and motivational speaker, suggests calmly naming the disrespectful behavior as soon as you notice it. Phrases like, "That comment felt dismissive. I'd appreciate if you let me finish," or "I felt belittled when you interrupted me," help put the issue on the table without escalating tension. These I statements keep the focus on your experience rather than accusing the other person, reducing defensiveness and increasing chances for positive dialogue. Sometimes the disrespect is subtle, a condescending tone, eye-rolling, or dismissive body language. Clinical psychologist Jefferson Fisher recommends calmly asking the person to repeat their statement or simply saying, "Did you mean to say that like it sounded?" This simple technique often disarms the impressor, forcing awareness of their behavior without direct confrontation. It's like holding up a mirror, revealing disrespect without creating enemy lines. Confronting disrespect also requires emotional regulation. It's natural to feel anger or hurt, but reacting impulsively can undermine your message and give the other person control over your emotions. Techniques like deep, measured breathing or pausing for a moment before responding help you maintain composure and clarity. Practicing mindfulness and reframing, recognizing that disrespect often says more about the other person's insecurities or bad day than about your value, can also reduce emotional heat. Not every slight or rude comment demands a verbal confrontation. Choosing your battles wisely is part of emotional intelligence. Sometimes, walking away or refusing to engage is the strongest statement of all. But when you notice a pattern of disrespect, especially in close relationships or at work, addressing it promptly prevents escalation and protects your boundaries. In workplaces, studies estimate that about 60% of workers experience disrespectful behavior, which diminishes productivity and mental health. Organizations are increasingly training employees and managers on assertive communication to foster respectful environments, proving the real-world effectiveness of addressing disrespect. Personal relationships are another critical arena. Disrespect erodes trust and intimacy, so confronting it early preserves bonds. Conversations might start uncomfortable, but can lead to deeper understanding, especially when grounded in kindness and curiosity rather than blame. This aligns with cutting-edge conflict resolution research promoting calling in, inviting dialogue to call out disrespect while preserving connection. Historical examples illuminate this approach. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. confronted systemic disrespect and injustice not with hatred, but with assertive, nonviolent resistance. His speeches and marches were clear statements of dignity and boundary setting that galvanized a movement, proving how confronting disrespect can wield transformative power. If confrontation feels daunting, start small. Practice saying no when asked to tolerate disrespect. Express your feelings to trusted friends or mentors and seek their support. Role-play difficult conversations to build confidence. Remember that confronting disrespect is less about changing others instantly and more about honoring your self-respect and setting a tone for how you expect to be treated. In summary, confronting disrespect immediately is crucial for preserving your dignity, mental health, and meaningful relationships. It's an act of courage and self-love that requires practice, but yields profound rewards. From Malala's bravery and MLK's leadership to everyday moments of standing up calmly for yourself, this skill protects your inner peace and fosters respect from others. Start now by paying attention to subtle signs of disrespect around you, and choose one small instance today to name respectfully and assert your boundaries. Over time, these moments build a resilient foundation of self-respect and empower you to live authentically and fearlessly. Looking your best is more than just about vanity or conforming to societal expectations. It is a profound and practical way to respect yourself, boost your confidence, and command respect from others. The way we present ourselves physically impacts how we feel internally, influences our interactions, and shapes the opportunities that come our way. In fact, research shows a strong connection between appearance and self-esteem, revealing that people who feel good about their looks tend to experience higher confidence and better mental health. According to a 2025 study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, nearly 70% of adults report that maintaining a positive personal appearance directly boosts their mood and self-confidence. These psychological benefits ripple outward, influencing how others perceive and respond to us. From the moment we wake up to the way we dress and groom, every choice sends a message, not only to the world but most importantly, to ourselves. It says, "I value myself, and I am worth presenting well." This respect for oneself fosters a powerful cycle. When you look your best, you feel your best. When you feel your best, you naturally carry yourself with more assurance. And confidence is one of the most magnetic traits humans possess. Throughout history, appearance has been a silent yet potent ambassador of influence and respect. Consider Eleanor Roosevelt, the iconic former First Lady, known as much for her social leadership as for her impeccable presence. She once remarked, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Eleanor understood the transformative power of self-presentation combined with self-respect. Her deliberate grooming and thoughtful style expressed her dignity and seriousness, which earned her respect across nations during turbulent times. Her example reminds us that looking your best is not about superficiality, but about honoring yourself and the role you intend to play in the world. In everyday life, looking your best doesn't mean expensive clothes or conforming to fleeting fashion trends. It means grooming meticulously, wearing clothes that fit well and suit your style, and carrying yourself with good posture and a warm demeanor. Simple yet consistent habits such as daily hygiene, clean and pressed outfits, and paying attention to details like hair and accessories send a strong signal of self-care and discipline. Psychologically, this attention to appearance improves self-perception, which is a cornerstone of healthy self-esteem. When we feel good looking in the mirror, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, enhancing mood and motivation. Small habits, like choosing that outfit that makes you smile or wearing a color that boosts your energy, have outsized effects on your sense of well-being throughout the day. Socially and professionally, the benefits are just as compelling. Studies show recruiters form opinions within seconds based on appearance. People dressed neatly and confidently are often judged as more competent and trustworthy. For example, in a 2024 survey by LinkedIn, 75% of hiring managers agreed personal grooming played a crucial role in initial impressions, and those impressions often influenced interview success. The story of Steve Jobs offers a modern lesson on appearance and authenticity. Known for his signature black turtleneck and jeans, Jobs created an unmistakable but consistent look that communicated simplicity, focus, and innovation. His look was an extension of his brand and self-respect. He chose to invest his energy in substance, but understood the visual message was a powerful complement. This balance between appearance and authenticity enhances not only external perception but inner confidence. Another dimension of looking your best is the way we use body language, an often overlooked aspect of appearance. Standing tall, making eye contact, and smiling sincerely communicate openness and respect for yourself and others. Social psychologist Amy Cuddy's research highlights how power posing can boost confidence by shifting body chemistry. These non-verbal clothes dress us in strength and assurance even before words are spoken, However, it's critical to embrace uniqueness rather than chasing impossible ideals. The damaging influence of unrealistic beauty standards is well documented, fueling a multi-billion-dollar beauty industry driven by fear and inadequacy. Yet true self-respect shines through acceptance of individual traits and celebrating originality. This kind of confident self-expression transcends appearance alone and radiates genuine self-worth. Practical steps to look your best. Start with building a routine that honors your lifestyle and personality. Establish a regular grooming regimen, skincare, hair care, oral hygiene. Declutter your wardrobe. Keep versatile and comfortable pieces that fit well. Pay attention to posture and body language. Practice standing and sitting with confidence. Prioritize sleep and nutrition, as physical appearance reflects overall health. Experiment with colors, styles, and accessories that make you feel vibrant and authentic. Avoid harsh self-criticism when imperfections appear. Instead, focus on the full picture of your presence. Investing in your appearance is an investment in your self-respect. It's a daily declaration that you matter and you deserve to be seen at your best. This attitude does not stem from vanity but from kindness to oneself, which improves mental health and social connections. In the workplace, in relationships, and in public life, how you present yourself sets a baseline for how others treat you. Dress codes, grooming, and etiquette vary by context, but the underlying principle remains universal. Respect begins with showing respect to yourself. Imagine walking into any room feeling prepared and polished, knowing you look as good as you feel inside. This preparation transforms stress into possibility and doubt into confidence. Hundreds of thousands of studies affirm this. People who look their best have higher rates of promotion, better social outcomes, and report greater life satisfaction. The path to self-respect through appearance is not about perfection, but presence. Being fully alive, aware, and intentional in how you carry yourself. As the poet Maya Angelou put it, when you know better, you do better. In learning to look your best, you learn to value yourself more deeply, and in doing so command the respect of the world around you. Take this lesson today as an invitation and a gift. Nurture your appearance with care and pride. Let your confidence glow as brightly as your style, and watch as respect naturally follows. Chasing the wrong people, whether in romantic relationships, friendships, or professional connections, is a trap that many fall into, often without fully understanding the deep psychological and emotional toll it takes. The pull to seek love, approval, or companionship from those who don't value or respect us is both powerful and profoundly damaging. Psychological research shows that investing energy in one-sided or toxic relationships is linked to increased levels of stress, anxiety, depression, and a lasting erosion of self-esteem. A 2025 study by the American Psychological Association reported that adults in unreciprocated or unhealthy relationships have a 40% higher incidence of anxiety and mood disorders than those in supportive, balanced relationships. Why do we chase the wrong people? It is not simply a matter of choice, but often deeply rooted in human nature and past experiences. Attachment theory developed by John Bowlby explains that early childhood experiences with caregivers shape how we seek connection as adults. Those who grew up with inconsistent or neglectful emotional support often carry unconscious wounds, leading them to subconsciously pursue relationships that mirror those early deficits, even if they cause pain. They seek what is familiar, mistaking instability or neglect for normalcy or proof of love. Consider the painfully public story of Whitney Houston, one of the most gifted singers of her generation. Behind her angelic voice and radiant smile was a life marred by turbulent relationships marked by emotional abuse and addiction. Houston's desperate attempts to hold on to love often led her to toxic partners who diminished her sense of self. Her story is a potent reminder that chasing the wrong people can cloud even the brightest talents, underscoring how essential it is to prioritize our well-being over obsessive connection. The emotional consequences of chasing the wrong people are wide-ranging. At the core is a chronic depletion of emotional energy, leading to feelings of emptiness, frustration, and loneliness. This state fosters a vicious cycle. The more you chase, the more distant the other party seems, deepening feelings of rejection and unworthiness. Psychologists call this phenomenon emotional exhaustion, a condition linked to sleep disturbances, impaired immune function, and reduced cognitive performance. Career growth and personal ambitions frequently suffer as well. Stress and emotional turmoil from toxic relationships bleed into work and social life, sapping motivation and focus. Research published in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology, 2024, found that employees experiencing relationship distress outside of work report 30% higher rates of burnout and lower productivity. When a partner or friend consistently undermines or neglects your goals, it's not just your heart that suffers, it's your future. Financial stability is another casualty. Clinging to wrong partners can mean shouldering disproportionate financial burdens or being manipulated economically. Financial abuse, where one partner controls or exploits finances, traps many in cycles of dependency. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence noted a 20% increase in financial abuse cases in 2025, tied closely to emotional manipulation in unhealthy relationships. Breaking free from chasing wrong people requires deep self-reflection and courage. First, recognize the pattern. Are your efforts returned with equal care, respect, and commitment? Do your relationships fuel your growth or drain your spirit? Awareness is the first step toward change. Psychologically, self-worth must be rebuilt from within. Practices like daily affirmations, journaling, and therapy help reshape beliefs that you deserve love and respect unconditionally. Dr. Brené Brown's extensive work on vulnerability and shame highlights that embracing one's worthiness is central to breaking unhealthy relational patterns. Moreover, you must cultivate boundaries, clear limits that protect your emotional, physical, and psychological well-being. Boundaries act as self-respect in action, signaling to yourself and others that you are worthy of respect and care. Legendary civil rights activist Audre Lorde famously said, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare." Setting boundaries is a radical act of reclaiming your power. Practical steps to stop chasing the wrong people include limiting contact and communication where reciprocity is absent, engaging in activities and communities that nurture positive connections, seeking support from friends, mentors, or professionals, practicing saying no and prioritizing your emotional needs, reflecting often on who energizes or depletes you. Many find professional counseling invaluable, especially when patterns stem from deep-seated trauma or attachment wounds. Therapeutic approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and emotionally focused therapy, EFT, equip individuals with tools to recognize unhealthy patterns and actively choose healthier relational dynamics. Public figures remind us that it's never too late to make healthier choices. Oprah Winfrey, for example, experienced challenging relationships, but transformed her life by cultivating self-love and surrounding herself with supportive people. Her story inspires millions to aim for friendships and partnerships that uplift rather than undermine. Ultimately, stopping the chase for the wrong people opens space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Imagine investing your love and energy where it is celebrated and reciprocated. Picture a life in which your worth is recognized naturally and consistently. This transformation is not easy or instantaneous. It demands patience, self-compassion, and sometimes painful letting go. But the rewards, a restored sense of peace, emotional resilience, and authentic connection, are immeasurable. Step today into a new story. Choose to honor yourself by recognizing the truth about your relationships. Stop chasing those who run past you, and instead welcome those who walk beside you with respect and love. Your heart, mind, and future are worth this brave step. Say less, mean more. This simple shift in communication carries profound power in how you respect yourself and command respect from others. It is not about withholding or manipulation, but about clarity, intention, and authenticity. When your words are measured and meaningful, you avoid unnecessary complications, confusion, or diluted messages. You create impact by speaking with purpose, rather than filling silence with noise. Psychology shows that concise, deliberate communication boosts confidence, reduces anxiety, and improves interpersonal relationships. A 2025 study published in the Journal of Communication revealed that individuals who practiced intentional, clear speech felt 35% more effective in social and professional interactions. Why is saying less so powerful? Ancient philosophers, from Socrates with his know thyself maxim to the Taoist embrace of silence, have long understood that wisdom often resides not in the abundance of words, but in the meaningful pause. When we rush to fill every space with talk, we risk losing audience engagement, undermining authority, and masking true intentions. Conversely, if we say less but mean every word deeply, others listen more attentively and perceive us as authentic and trustworthy. The story of Abraham Lincoln illustrates this beautifully. Known for his concise, impactful speeches, like the Gettysburg Address, barely 270 words, Lincoln communicated profound ideas succinctly and with tremendous emotional depth. His ability to say less, mean more, became a hallmark of his leadership during one of America's most turbulent times. This practice not only rallied a nation, but also enhanced his personal gravitas and respect. In everyday life, saying less doesn't mean withdrawing or becoming silent. It means being selective. Before responding, pause and ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it true? Does it add value? This moment of reflection aligns with ancient Stoic principles, teaching us to master impulses, to speak out of turn with thoughtful intention. Psychologically, intentional speech supports mental clarity. When words flow without pause, the brain's executive function, the part responsible for reasoning and decision-making, can become overwhelmed. By slowing down and choosing words deliberately, you free cognitive resources to focus on the quality of interaction rather than quantity. This aligns with mindfulness practices emphasizing presence and awareness in communication. More importantly, meaning behind words builds trust and deepens connection. People can tell when communication is surface level or driven by social obligations versus heartfelt intent. Say less when you want listeners to lean in, pause when your message is critical, and speak with authenticity that reflects your values and feelings. This resonates with Brené Brown's research on vulnerability. Authenticity fosters empathy and courageous connection. In professional settings, saying less and meaning more elevates leadership. Studies show leaders who communicate concisely earn more respect and team engagement. Clear, fewer words reduce misunderstandings and demonstrate confidence. For example, Sheryl Sandberg, former COO of Facebook, is renowned for her clear and persuasive communication style that balances brevity with emotional power, inspiring millions in business and personal growth. In personal relationships, this principle helps avoid conflict and builds intimacy. Over-explaining or excessive justification often signals insecurity or defensiveness. Instead, clear and calm expressions of thoughts and needs invite genuine dialogue and mutual respect. Practicing I statements like, I feel, or I need, with simple honesty creates space for meaningful exchange without overwhelming the listener. To cultivate this skill, start with daily mindful communication exercises. Practice pausing before you respond in conversations. Limit filler words and phrases like like, or unnecessary apologies. Prepare key points before important discussions to focus your message. Reflect on your conversations and identify moments when you over-explained or drifted off topic. Ask trusted friends for feedback on how clear and authentic your communication feels. Emotional intelligence is integral to saying less and meaning more. Being attuned to others' cues, facial expressions, tone, body language, guides when to speak and when to listen. Active listening, a complementary skill, creates balance and shows respect. When you listen well, you rest in silence, knowing your response will carry the weight it deserves. Many successful people attribute part of their effectiveness to mastering this art. Steve Jobs, for example, was known for his sharp, often minimalist communication, distilling complex ideas into simple, memorable messages. This not only demonstrated respect for his audience's time, but also reinforced his confidence and clarity. It's important to note that saying less and meaning more harmonizes with authenticity. It is not about repression or withholding feelings, but expressing the truth concisely and sincerely. When emotions run high, it's tempting to speak excessively or defensively. Instead, practice acknowledgement of feelings and deliberate expression. Beyond conversations, cultivating meaning also applies to written communication. Emails, messages, and social media posts benefit from clarity and purpose. Concise, well-crafted messages reduce misunderstandings and project professionalism and authenticity. Research illustrates a broader cultural shift, valuing brevity and clarity. In a digital age saturated with information, attention spans shrink, and meaningful communication stands out. Platforms like Twitter popularized the art of concise expression, proving that less truly can be more. Saying less and meaning more is a form of respect for yourself and others. It shows that you value your words enough to choose them wisely and value listeners enough to respect their time and attention. This practice builds confidence by rooting self-expression in thoughtful intention rather than impulsivity or self-doubt. Imagine the power of entering any conversation, meeting, or interaction grounded in clarity and authenticity, where your words carry weight, your presence commands attention, and your silence speaks volumes. This presence creates lasting impressions and deepens connections. Begin today by observing your speech. Notice moments when you talk more out of habit than necessity. Practice pausing and reflecting before responding. Cultivate honesty and intention in your words. Celebrate the silence that holds space for meaning. When you say less and mean more, you step into your power, respect your mind and values, and invite the world to respect you back, not just for what you say, but for who you are. Thinking before you speak is a profound practice that profoundly shapes your self-respect and the respect you earn from others. It is a discipline of mindfulness and intentionality that ensures your words reflect your true values and thoughtful consideration, rather than impulsive reactions or emotional turbulence. Nearly 65% of people report regretting things they said impulsively, leading to misunderstandings, damaged relationships, and personal regret. In contrast, those who pause and think before speaking report higher emotional intelligence, stronger connections, and enhanced self-confidence, a reflection of deep inner respect. Why is this practice so transformative? Communication is more than words, it's an expression of self. When you speak without thinking, you risk revealing insecurity, ignorance, or anger. Words said in haste can cause harm to ourselves and others, leading to conflict, loss of trust, or missed opportunities. Conversely, pausing to reflect before responding sends a powerful message that you respect yourself enough to choose your voice carefully and respect others enough to communicate clearly. Across cultures and throughout history, thinkers and leaders have emphasized this lesson. The ancient Chinese philosopher Confucius taught that thoughtful speech brings calm, encouraging people to weigh their words carefully to preserve harmony and dignity. Shakespeare's Hamlet reminded us, "Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice," suggesting wisdom in listening far more than rushing to speak. The psychology behind thinking before speaking begins with the brain's executive functions housed in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control, decision-making, and empathy. When stressed or rushed, this control weakens, leading to impulsive speech. Mindfulness and emotional regulation strengthen these areas, helping you pause and respond rather than react. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela, who after 27 years in prison, emerged not with vengeance but with carefully chosen words of unity and reconciliation. His deliberate communication played a vital role in healing a fractured nation. Mandela's story illustrates that thinking before speaking not only preserves dignity, but can transform conflict into collaboration. In daily life, thinking before you speak requires cultivating awareness of your emotional state and the context. Before responding, especially in emotionally charged situations, take a breath, assess your feelings, and consider the impact of your words. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want? Am I speaking from a place of calm or reactivity? Are my words truthful and kind? Will this encourage understanding or conflict? Psychologists advocate for response delay, a brief pause before replying, which gives your brain time to process. Even a few seconds dramatically improves communication quality and emotional regulation. This practice is critical in relationships. Fluent, thoughtful communication fosters trust and mutual respect. Rushed, careless words often cause hurt that lingers. Using "I feel" statements or expressing needs clearly without blame transforms potential conflict into connection. For example, instead of You never listen. Saying "I feel unheard" when you interrupt me invites empathy. In professional contexts, leaders who think before speaking command more respect and influence. They communicate vision and feedback constructively, avoiding misunderstandings. Women leaders, for example, often face pressure to talk less, mean more, where thoughtful speech amplifies power. Research from Harvard Business Review in 2024 found that executives who practiced mindful communication were rated 25% higher in leadership effectiveness. Equally important is listening. Thoughtful speech arises from active listening and genuine engagement. When you truly hear others, your responses resonate more deeply. Listening also models respect, encouraging reciprocal consideration. Taking care to think before speaking also guards mental and emotional health. Impulsive, angry, or regretful words create internal turmoil and stress hormones. Mindful communication practices, including journaling, meditation, or breathing exercises, enhance self-control and emotional clarity. Technology accelerates the need for thoughtful speech. Instant messaging and social media amplify impulsive communication risks. Before posting or replying, pausing to reflect prevents conflicts and preserves reputation. To cultivate this skill, practice mindfulness to increase present moment awareness. Role-play difficult conversations to build confidence. Use affirmation. I choose words that reflect my best self. Reflect daily on your communication and learn from mistakes. Engage in deep listening practices. Seek feedback from trusted friends or mentors. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but progress. Even small improvements in speech intentionality yield significant gains in respect and connection. In summary, thinking before you speak honors the sacredness of your words and your relationships. It is a cornerstone of self-respect and a foundation for earning respect from others. From Mandela's reconciliatory leadership to everyday moments of patient dialogue, this practice shapes lives profoundly. Imagine conversations flowing with understanding, respect, and authenticity. Picture yourself as someone whose words carry weight and wisdom, who listens deeply and speaks wisely. This vision is attainable with commitment. Begin today by noticing moments before you speak. Embrace silence as a space for thought. Speak your truth clearly and kindly, and watch your self-respect and others' respect blossom. Don't entertain gossip. This may seem like a small or even trivial action, but consciously choosing to avoid gossip is a powerful form of self-respect and a vital step in earning respect from others. Gossip, defined as casual or unconstrained conversation or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as true, can rapidly erode trust, damage reputations, and poison relationships. Beyond the social consequences, engaging in gossip negatively impacts your own mental well-being and self-esteem. Psychological studies show that individuals who regularly participate in gossip report higher levels of anxiety, stress, and feelings of isolation. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Social Psychology found that people who abstain from gossip experience better emotional regulation and stronger social bonds, simply because they are perceived as more trustworthy and discreet. In contrast, those who spread or entertain gossip tend to be seen as untrustworthy, often ostracized from meaningful circles of communication and influence. Why is gossip so tempting? Gossip taps into deep human inclinations. As social creatures, we crave connection and belonging, and sharing information about others has long served a bonding function. Anthropologists note that gossip likely evolved as a social tool to build group cohesion and communicate norms. However, in modern contexts, gossip frequently shifts from constructive to destructive, spreading misleading or harmful information that undermines respect and integrity. Consider the legendary Elizabeth I, the Queen of England, whose court was rife with intrigue, rumors, and gossip. Elizabeth wisely avoided indulging in or spreading court gossip. Instead, she cultivated an image of dignity and composed discipline, reinforcing her authority and gaining respect not only from advisors but from nations. Her restraint in speech and measured interactions exemplify how steering clear of gossip strengthens personal credibility and leadership. In daily life, resisting gossip is difficult, especially when it seems harmless or entertaining. You may find yourself in social situations where the flow of conversation drifts towards unverified stories or criticisms of absent individuals. The key is to build awareness and commitment to a higher standard of discourse. Each time you decline to participate, you reinforce your personal boundaries, signaling to others and yourself that you value respect, truth, and kindness. Psychologists advise a few practical tactics to help resist gossip. Change the subject to something positive or neutral. Politely excuse yourself from conversations that veer into gossip. Respond with questions that encourage empathy, such as, "How do you think that person feels hearing this?" Reflect internally on your values and the impact your words may have. Not entertaining gossip also means avoiding being tempted to share personal or sensitive information about others. This discretion is a hallmark of trustworthiness, and people notice it. When others know you as someone who keeps confidences and speaks with integrity, your respect and influence grow exponentially. Stories of famous figures remind us that reputation is fragile and that dodging gossip preserves character. For example, Michelle Obama has been widely admired for her measured, respectful communication style. By staying above the fray of rumors and negativity, she has earned global respect as a role model for grace and strength. Scientifically, the benefits of avoiding gossip extend to personal mental health and social support networks. Engaging in gossip activates the brain's reward centers temporarily, but long-term involvement correlates with feelings of loneliness and lowered self-esteem. Conversely, people who cultivate positive, respectful communication experience greater social connection and emotional resilience. On a broader scale, abstaining from gossip helps build healthier communities. It fosters a culture of respect where people feel safe to express themselves without fear of judgment or betrayal. Such environments enhance collaboration, creativity, and well-being, whether in families, workplaces, or social groups. This practice also aligns with ethical and spiritual principles across cultures. Many spiritual traditions emphasize compassion, kindness, and speaking only what is beneficial. The ancient Indian concept of right speech includes abstaining from gossip as an essential path to personal and communal harmony. Resisting the lure of gossip requires courage and consistency. It means sometimes standing against the current of conversation or social pressure. Yet, each act of restraint cultivates inner strength and external respect. To implement this principle in your life, set a clear personal intention to avoid gossip. Surround yourself with people who value positive communication. Reflect on the ripple effects gossip can cause beyond the moment. Use journaling or meditation to explore your motivations and growth areas. Celebrate moments where you choose respect over rumor. Imagine the peace that arises when your words are trusted, your reputation untarnished, and your relationships deeper because they are free from the poison of gossip. Picture yourself as a beacon in social situations, known for fairness, discretion, and kindness. Say no to gossip. This simple yet profound decision protects your dignity and builds a legacy of respect. It is an act of kindness to yourself and to the world you inhabit. Begin today by acknowledging a recent moment when gossip tempted you. Reflect on how choosing silence or redirection would have served you better. Commit to moving forward with integrity in all conversations. You are deserving of respect, and choosing not to entertain gossip is a tangible, powerful way to communicate that truth to yourself and others. It establishes you as a person of principle, a trustworthy companion, and a true friend. Keep promises to yourself. This principle may sound simple, yet it is one of the most powerful foundations of self-respect and authentic living. When you consistently honor the commitments you make to yourself, you build trust with your inner self, strengthen your willpower, and model integrity that spills over into all areas of life. Conversely, breaking promises, whether small daily intentions or larger goals, corrodes self-esteem and conditions the mind to accept disempowerment. A 2025 review in the Journal of Human Behavior found that individuals with high rates of promise-keeping experience 40% higher life satisfaction and lower anxiety levels. This reflects the deep psychological truth that meaningful self-trust is essential for emotional health and personal growth. Why is keeping promises to yourself so transformational? Promises serve as contracts between your present and future self. Each time you commit to an action, whether "I will exercise today," "I will speak kindly," or "I will complete this task," you create a bridge of trust. When you follow through, you send a powerful message to your subconscious: you are reliable, valuable, and capable. This nurtures your identity as someone who stands by their word, enhancing confidence and motivation. History honors promise-keeping as a virtue that shapes character. Consider Mahatma Gandhi, whose steadfast commitment to non-violence and truth, satyagraha, formed the bedrock of his leadership. Gandhi famously emphasized that self-discipline and integrity begin with honoring the promises we make to ourselves. His life wasn't just about grand political promises, but daily acts of personal discipline that reinforced his mission. This unwavering integrity earned him profound respect globally and catalyzed one of history's greatest social movements. At its core, promise-keeping cultivates a vital aspect of emotional intelligence: self-regulation. The brain regions involved in executive function, the prefrontal cortex, enable us to plan, control impulses, and weigh consequences. Regularly honoring your word exercises and strengthens these circuits, increasing resilience and self-control. This capacity is linked to better decision-making, stress reduction, and healthier relationships. Breaking promises to yourself, on the other hand, triggers cognitive dissonance, a state of discomfort caused by inconsistency between beliefs and actions. Over time, this dissonance undermines your self-image and may lead to patterns of procrastination, self-sabotage, and diminished self-worth. For example, research by Dr. Roy Baumeister shows that failure to maintain commitments to oneself is a key predictor of lowered motivation and increased risk of depression. In practical life, keeping promises to yourself may range from simple habits, like waking up at a set time, to profound goals like pursuing a dream or healing emotionally. The impact is cumulative. Each fulfilled commitment builds momentum and internal trust. For illustration, consider Sarah, who committed to a daily morning walk despite a hectic schedule. Over weeks, this small promise enhanced her physical health and fostered confidence that extended to tackling larger challenges. Strategies to strengthen promise-keeping include: start small. Make manageable promises to build consistency. Write down commitments. Physical records improve accountability. Visualize success. Envision the pride and benefits of following through. Set reminders. Use calendars or alerts as support tools. Reflect and adjust. If you miss a promise, analyze without harsh judgment. Recommit with clarity. Celebrate milestones. Acknowledge progress to fuel motivation. Moreover, keep promises as acts of kindness toward your future self. Imagine the gratitude your future self will feel when past choices align with growth and care. This perspective fosters patience and compassion during setbacks, recognizing that self-trust is built over time. Prominent figures reinforce this ethos. Olympic athletes meticulously honor training commitments daily, knowing that their future performance depends on consistent actions. Walt Disney famously declared, "The difference in winning and losing is most often not quitting," highlighting the power of relentless promise-keeping. Beyond personal growth, promise-keeping affects relationships and professional reputation. People unconsciously observe whether you honor even minor commitments, shaping their trust in you. Consistent reliability creates a foundation of respect and dependability in every interaction. Psychological research also reveals a promise-keeping paradox. While many assume promises only bind in serious agreements, even informal commitments regulate social behavior. Studies show that people keep promises to strangers at remarkably high rates, even when breaking them carries minimal penalty, demonstrating how integral promise-keeping is to human cooperation and societal trust. In a digital age where distractions abound, maintaining promise-keeping demands intentionality. The barrage of choices competes with focused action, but the practice of honoring oneself grounds you amidst chaos. Consider incorporating rituals or symbols that affirm your personal commitments: a journal entry, a meditation, or a token that reminds you daily. These anchors deepen the psychological impact and make promise-keeping a meaningful part of your identity. Lastly, remember that promise-keeping is intertwined with honesty. Making promises you cannot or do not intend to keep undermines your trustworthiness and self-integrity. It's better to withhold promises than to make empty commitments. Authenticity builds the soil from which trust grows. In conclusion, keeping promises to yourself is a radical act of self-respect that cultivates confidence, resilience, and integrity. It nurtures the relationship with your inner self, the foundation for all external relationships. Like Gandhi's unwavering discipline or an athlete's daily training, every kept promise is a brick in the fortress of your character. Begin today by choosing one promise, small or large, and fulfilling it deliberately. Notice the impact on your mindset and sense of power. Your self-respect rises each time you honor your word, creating a ripple that transforms your life, relationship, and future. You are worthy of this commitment. Keep your promises and keep growing. Protect your time. This simple yet transformative principle is a cornerstone of self-respect and a vital key to earning respect from others. In today's hyper-connected, fast-paced world, time has become our most precious resource. It's the currency of life. Yet too many people unwittingly sacrifice their time to others' demands, obligations, or distractions, eroding their well-being, productivity, and sense of worth. Guarding your time is not selfish. It is an act of deep self-love and assertiveness that sets clear boundaries and signals to the world that your life is valuable. Research underscores the importance of this principle. According to a 2025 global survey by the American Psychological Association, over 70% of adults report feeling overwhelmed or stressed due to poor time management and excessive demands from others. Furthermore, studies have shown that people who perceive themselves as having control over their time experience up to 50% less stress and significantly better mental health. Protecting your time nurtures mental clarity, reduces burnout, and enhances focus, empowering you to prioritize what truly matters. Why is protecting your time so closely linked to self-respect? Time is the vessel through which life unfolds. How you allocate it reflects your values and priorities. Allowing others to encroach excessively on your time often signals to yourself and others that your needs rank lower, diminishing your sense of agency and worth. Conversely, setting firm limits honors your commitments, professional, personal, or spiritual, and upholds your dignity. Historical icons provide vivid lessons about valuing time. The great inventor and thinker Leonardo da Vinci planned his days meticulously, maximizing focus on his creative pursuits while guarding his time fiercely against trivial interruptions. His disciplined approach not only amplified his genius, but cemented his legacy. Da Vinci's life teaches us that protecting time is central to achieving greatness and preserving self-respect. Similarly, modern leaders like Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey credit much of their success to rigorous time management, viewing time protection as integral to productivity and self-care. Oprah, for instance, famously blocks chunks of her day for focused work and rejuvenation, emphasizing that respecting her schedule is respecting herself. These examples illuminate how protecting time is not only about saying no, but also about saying yes to your highest priorities. In practical terms, protecting your time involves intentionality and boundary setting. The first step is recognizing that your time is finite and irreplaceable. This recognition fosters mindfulness in daily decisions, helping you avoid overcommitment or falling prey to endless distractions like social media and unsolicited requests. Effective techniques for protecting your time include prioritizing tasks and commitments with clear criteria based on your values, using tools like calendars, to-do lists, or digital apps to manage obligations transparently, learning to say no kindly but firmly to requests or invitations that do not align with your goals or energy, scheduling do not disturb periods for focused work or rest, delegating or outsourcing tasks when possible to free bandwidth, communicating boundaries to family, friends, and colleagues clearly and respectfully. Psychologists emphasize the importance of self-compassion in protecting time. Many people procrastinate or overcommit out of guilt or fear of disappointing others. Developing self-respect involves shedding these limiting beliefs and understanding that your well-being enhances your ability to contribute meaningfully to others. Culturally, time protection intersects with challenging norms around overwork and busyness that equate worth with productivity. The growing slow movement, advocates valuing quality and presence over quantity and speed, encouraging individuals to reclaim their time as a sacred resource. This philosophy echoes indigenous and ancient traditions where cycles of work and rest were balanced to honor life's rhythms. Furthermore, protecting your time strengthens relationships by fostering respect and clear expectations. People appreciate honesty and clear communication about availability. It prevents resentment from overextension and creates space for genuine connection, free from exhaustion or distraction. In spiritual frameworks, time protection aligns with honoring the sacredness of life moments. Practices like meditation or Sabbaths intentionally set time aside to reconnect with self and values, deepening self-respect and presence. Consider a real-world example from professional life. A manager in a demanding corporate environment who began enforcing strict boundaries around her calendar saw her stress levels plummet, her work quality improve, and relationships flourish. She scheduled no meeting blocks, used email filters, and delegated extensively. This shift signaled to her team the value of focused time and respect, which in turn transformed workplace culture positively. At the personal level, protecting time enables you to nurture yourself through exercise, hobbies, learning, or rest. Activities that recharge your physical and emotional reserves. This nurturing is foundational for resilience and well-being. To begin protecting your time, conduct a time audit. Track how you currently spend your day and identify leaks or wasted moments. Define your priorities. What activities, people, or goals deserve your time? Communicate boundaries assertively. Expect resistance, but remain firm. Schedule restorative activities as non-negotiable. Practice gratitude for the time you gift yourself and witness positive changes. Imagine living with sacred respect for your time, where each day reflects your values and distractions or demands do not derail your peace or purpose. This freedom is not a luxury but a necessity for a life well lived. By protecting your time, you declare that your life matters, not just in theory, but in practice. You cultivate self-respect rooted in daily choices reflecting your highest self and worth. Remember, others will reflect the respect you show yourself. When you protect your time, you teach others to honor yours as well. Start today by setting one small boundary, a no to a low-priority task, a block of quiet time, or a limit on digital distractions. Notice the ripple effect on your energy, focus, and self-worth. Your time is your life. Guard it fiercely, cherish it daily, and watch your self-respect, and the respect you receive, soar. Setting strong boundaries is an essential pillar of self-respect and a fundamental way to earn respect from others. Boundaries act as invisible fences that protect your emotional, physical, and mental well-being by clearly defining what you are willing to accept and what you are not. Without strong boundaries, you risk being overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or disrespected in relationships and daily interactions. Psychological research consistently shows that people who establish and maintain healthy boundaries report higher self-esteem, lower levels of stress and anxiety, and more satisfying relationships. For instance, a 2025 study published in the Journal of Psychological Health revealed that individuals practicing clear personal boundaries experienced a 40% reduction in interpersonal conflicts and a 35% increase in perceived self-worth. Why are boundaries so vital? Boundaries are a direct expression of how much you value yourself. They convey that your time, energy, emotions, and values matter, and that you demand to be treated with dignity. By setting strong boundaries, you send a message to others that you are not a doormat to be walked on, but a person with needs and rights that deserve recognition. This empowerment transforms not only how others relate to you, but crucially, how you relate to yourself, building inner confidence and peace. History offers compelling examples of boundary setting as a form of self-respect and leadership. Take Harriet Tubman, the famed abolitionist and conductor of the Underground Railroad. Tubman's life was marked by fearless boundary setting, not only physically freeing herself and others from slavery, but emotionally and mentally asserting her freedom from fear, oppression, and societal constraints. Tubman's boundaries kept her mission uncompromised and commanded deep respect from those who followed and supported her. Her life exemplifies how boundaries are not about building walls to isolate, but about drawing clear lines that protect your integrity and mission. Healthy boundaries manifest in different ways. Saying no to requests that drain your energy, choosing who to spend time with, protecting your mental space from toxic influences, and standing firm in your values. These boundaries vary by context and personal needs, but share the underlying principle of self-protection. Psychologists identify several types of boundaries: physical, emotional, intellectual, and digital. Physical boundaries pertain to your personal space and body autonomy, limiting who can touch you and how. Emotional boundaries protect you from emotionally abusive or manipulative behavior and help regulate your feelings and responsibilities. Intellectual boundaries acknowledge your right to opinions and ideas without judgment or dismissal. Digital boundaries govern your online presence and exposure to overwhelming or harmful content. Establishing boundaries begins with self-awareness. Reflect on moments when you felt discomfort, resentment, or depletion. These feelings often signal boundary violations. Ask yourself, what am I willing to tolerate? What values or needs feel compromised? When do I feel most respected and energized? Once you identify these limits, assert them with clarity and kindness. Assertiveness is a critical communication skill that balances respect for yourself and for others. Use I statements to express your boundaries without blame. I need time to recharge and won't be available during evenings. Or, I feel uncomfortable when interrupted and appreciate space to speak. While setting boundaries can initially trigger pushback or guilt, especially if you're used to people-pleasing, consistent practice strengthens your resolve. Psychologists underscore that guilt is often a tool of manipulation or internalized low self-esteem. Overcoming it requires recognizing that prioritizing your well-being is both healthy and necessary. Boundaries also foster healthier relationships by creating clear expectations and reducing misunderstandings. When others know your limits, they are less likely to overstep and conflicts decrease. Mutual respect flourishes in spaces where boundaries are honored. Technology and social media complicate boundaries further. Constant connectivity blurs lines between work and personal time and exposes people to toxic or manipulative communications. Setting limits on screen time, notifications, and online interactions is a modern boundary critical for mental health. Many public figures exemplify boundary setting as a success and wellness strategy. Michelle Obama speaks openly about protecting her family's privacy to maintain balance and respect. Workplace leaders increasingly emphasize boundaries to prevent burnout and foster inclusive environments. Research confirms the mental health benefits of boundaries. According to the World Health Organization, 2025, clear personal boundaries correlate with lower rates of anxiety and depression globally. Boundary setting enhances self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to execute behaviors necessary to produce desired outcomes. Practical steps to strengthen boundaries include: define your values clearly. They underpin your boundaries. Communicate boundaries openly and early in relationships. Practice saying no without over-explaining or apologizing. Recognize boundary violations and address them promptly. Seek support from trusted friends or professionals when needed. Use self-care routines to reinforce your commitment to your well-being. Imagine the freedom that comes from living with strong boundaries, feeling safe, respected, and energized because you control how others interact with you. Boundaries are not barriers but bridges to deeper self-respect and meaningful connection. Remember that boundaries evolve as you grow. Regularly revisit and adjust them according to your needs and circumstances. Begin today by identifying one area where your boundaries are weak or unclear. Take one small step to reinforce or communicate this boundary and observe how it affects your sense of self and your interactions. Your self-respect is reflected in the boundaries you set and protect. Strong boundaries open the door for others to respect you genuinely and for you to live fully and authentically. Limiting unreciprocated visits is a crucial act of self-respect and emotional survival. It is about recognizing when your energy, time, and presence are being invested in relationships or encounters that do not equally value or return them. These one-sided interactions drain your spirit, confuse your sense of worth, and impede the growth of balanced, fulfilling connections. In an age where social obligations and digital access have multiplied, setting limits on unreciprocated visits, whether social gatherings, phone calls, or even emotional engagement, is essential for mental health, resilience, and authentic living. Unreciprocated visits occur when you consistently make the effort to show up, physically, emotionally, or mentally, with little to no response or appreciation from the other party. The imbalance creates a psychological state of being overextended and undervalued. Research shows that people caught in such one-sided patterns often experience symptoms akin to chronic stress, including anxiety, depression, and lowered self-esteem. A 2025 survey published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology reported that individuals investing disproportionately in unbalanced relationships reported 45% higher rates of loneliness and emotional exhaustion. Why do we persist in unreciprocated visits? For many, the motivation comes from innate human needs for belonging, connection, and validation. Attachment theory illustrates that early relational experiences influence our tolerance for imbalance. Those raised with inconsistent or neglectful caregivers may subconsciously chase affection or approval in adulthood, even when it is not returned. The hope for reciprocity or fear of loneliness often trumps self-protection. Consider the story of author and activist Maya Angelou. Early in her life, Angelou experienced painful rejection and marginalization, but she learned to value herself and selectively invest her presence in people and places that reciprocated respect and love. Her wisdom shared repeatedly emphasizes self-care through the selective preservation of energy and presence. Angelou's life teaches that limiting unreciprocated visits is not rejection of others, but honoring of oneself. The harmful emotional effects of repeated unreciprocated visits are well documented. Feelings of rejection activate the same brain areas associated with physical pain, making emotional neglect tangible and raw. Individuals often internalize the lack of response as personal failure or unworthiness, which deepens emotional wounds. Psychologist Dr. April Justice asserts that setting limits on such dynamics is an act of self-healing and self-validation, essential for emotional maturity. Practically, limiting unreciprocated visits requires clear awareness and decisive action. Evaluate your relationships and social patterns honestly. Identify visits or interactions where the effort is overwhelmingly yours. Reflect on how these experiences affect your mood, energy, and self-perception. Begin setting boundaries by reducing contact or saying no to demands that undermine your well-being. Communicate your needs and limits authentically where possible. Replace unreciprocated visits with activities or interactions that nurture and uplift. Seek support from trusted friends, mentors, or professionals if patterns feel entrenched. Social dynamics also complicate this principle. Cultural or familial expectations may pressure you into enduring unbalanced visits to avoid conflict or guilt. People-pleasing tendencies often persist despite personal cost. Unlearning these patterns is hard, but deeply freeing. The story of contemporary public figure Michelle Obama highlights boundary setting in action. Despite immense public demands, she guarded her family and personal time fiercely, refusing invitations or engagements that did not align with her priorities. This protected her energy and underscored self-respect, modeling healthy limits for millions. Technology adds another layer. The ease of messaging or social media presence can create pressure to respond or engage repeatedly, even when one party shows little interest. Digital boundaries, limiting when and with whom you engage online, are equally important components of managing unreciprocated attention. The benefits of limiting unreciprocated visits are profound. Emotionally, it restores balance and cultivates self-compassion. Socially, it signals to others that your time and presence are valuable and deserve mutual respect. Physically, it reduces stress and its harmful effects on the body. Mentally, it frees space for growth, meaningful relationships, and joy. Many success stories link boundary setting in social engagement with improved mental health and productivity. For example, creative professionals often credit selective social presence as a key factor in maintaining their focus and innovation, avoiding the drain of obligatory but empty social interactions. In healing from one-sided relationships or unreciprocated visits, Whether romantic, friendship, or family-related, psychotherapy can provide tools and support. Approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy help individuals understand their attachment patterns and develop healthier relational habits. Imagine the liberation of no longer feeling compelled to attend every social function or reply to every message where respect and affection are absent. Picture a life where your social calendar reflects your values and nourishes your soul. This freedom enhances authenticity and enriches every meaningful connection. Begin today by taking note of recent unreciprocated visits or efforts. How did they make you feel? Decide on one small boundary, perhaps skipping an event where you feel undervalued or delaying responses that demand emotional labor. Notice the change in your energy and self-regard. Your presence is precious. Choose to invest it where it is cherished and returned. Limiting unreciprocated visits is a radical form of self-respect that initiates profound healing, fosters genuine relationships, and empowers you to live fully and freely. Investing in yourself is one of the most profound acts of self-respect and the foundation for a fulfilling, empowered life. It means dedicating time, energy, and resources towards your growth, well-being, skills, and passions. Far beyond fleeting self-care moments or indulgences, true self-investment is a deep, ongoing commitment to nurturing every aspect of your mind, body, spirit, and potential. Scientific research overwhelmingly supports this practice, showing that people who consistently invest in themselves experience greater mental health, resilience, confidence, and life satisfaction. Why is investing in yourself so transformational? At its core, it signals that you believe you are worth the effort and care, a powerful counter to self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Without this commitment, many find themselves stuck in cycles of burnout, dissatisfaction, or dependency on external approval. But when you invest purposefully in your growth, everything changes. Your mindset shifts, opportunities multiply, relationships deepen, and your sense of meaning expands. Psychologically, investing in yourself strengthens your self-esteem and self-worth. It reinforces the belief that your happiness and success matter and that you have the capacity to shape your life. According to a 2025 study published in the Journal of Personal Development, individuals who dedicate at least 5 hours a week to self-improvement activities, such as learning, exercise, meditation, or creative pursuits, report 30% higher levels of life satisfaction and 40% greater clarity regarding their goals. This encourages a virtuous circle where growth fuels confidence, which motivates further investment. Consider the inspiring example of Oprah Winfrey, whose rise from a challenging childhood to global influence was fueled by relentless self-investment. Oprah consistently prioritized education, emotional healing, and personal development throughout her career. She famously said, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." Oprah's journey illustrates how investing in yourself, through education, self-awareness, and care, creates a foundation for success and lasting fulfillment. Investing in yourself takes many forms, encompassing 4 fundamental pillars. 1. Mental and emotional health. Prioritizing mental well-being through therapy, mindfulness, meditation, or journaling enhances emotional regulation and resilience. These practices enable you to navigate life's stresses with grace and cultivate inner peace. 2. Physical health. Regular physical activity, quality sleep, balanced nutrition, and preventive health care empower your body to support your ambitions and well-being. As Dr. Manley articulates, our physical health profoundly impacts our psychological health and life quality. 3. Spiritual growth and values alignment. Investing in your spiritual well-being, whether through religious practice, meditation, or connecting with nature, deepens your sense of purpose and belonging. Living in alignment with your core values fosters authenticity and peace. Part 4. Skills and knowledge development. Lifelong learning through courses, reading, workshops, or mentorship expands your abilities and adaptability. Building skills, especially in communication, creativity, and emotional intelligence, opens career opportunities and enhances personal growth. The benefits of this holistic investment ripple across all life areas. Mentally and physically healthier individuals report better relationships, higher productivity, and a greater ability to face adversity. Professionally, self-investment increases marketability, innovation, and leadership potential. Socially, it fosters empathy, presence, and connection. Practical strategies to invest in yourself effectively include: allocate time regularly. Dedicate consistent, realistic time blocks weekly for growth activities. Set specific goals. Clear intentions and measurable milestones enhance motivation and progress. Seek resources. Invest in books, courses, coaching, or therapy that align with your growth priorities. Prioritize self-care. Recognize that rest and enjoyment are essential components of sustainable investment. Build support networks. Surround yourself with encouraging people who value growth and respect your journey. Reflect and adapt. Regularly assess your progress, challenges, and evolving needs. It's important to differentiate genuine self-investment from superficial or harmful coping mechanisms. For example, retail therapy or substance use may provide momentary relief, but ultimately undermine growth and well-being. True investment requires commitment, intentionality, and sometimes pushing through discomfort for long-term gain. Historical and contemporary figures remind us of investing in yourself as a pathway to greatness and fulfillment. Leonardo da Vinci's lifelong curiosity fueled his genius. Maya Angelou's dedication to healing and writing created cultural legacies. And entrepreneurs like Elon Musk keep evolving their skills and mindset to revolutionize industries. In modern psychology, investing in yourself is integral to positive psychology and well-being frameworks. The health promotion model emphasizes behaviors that increase quality of life through self-care and personal development. Therapy, coaching, and mindfulness are validated tools to deepen this investment and address barriers. Imagine the confidence that blossoms when you know you are actively nurturing your best self. Physically energized, mentally clear, emotionally resilient, and intellectually stimulated. Consider the joy of waking every day aligned with your purpose. Equipped with skills and surrounded by supportive connections, begin now by choosing one area to invest in. Perhaps starting a meditation practice, signing up for a class, prioritizing sleep, or journaling your goals. Celebrate every step as an act of reclaiming your worth and potential. Investing in yourself is an investment in every facet of your life. It fuels self-respect that others instinctively recognize and respond to with admiration and trust. Remember, your greatest asset is you. Cultivate it daily with intention, compassion, and courage. Balance give and take in relationships, the delicate, essential dance of mutual exchange, is a cornerstone of self-respect and a key to earning respect from others. Whether in friendships, romance, family, or professional bonds, healthy relationships thrive on balanced contributions of emotional support, time, energy, and care. When one party gives significantly more than they receive for extended periods, the imbalance breeds resentment, exhaustion, and erosion of self-worth. Conversely, when the balance is tilting towards fairness and reciprocity, both individuals flourish emotionally, socially, and physically. Scientific studies confirm that balanced relationships greatly enhance psychological well-being, reduce stress, and foster longevity. Why is balancing give and take so vital? At its core, relationships serve as mirrors of self-respect. When you give generously but consistently find your efforts undervalued or unrewarded, it signals that your needs and boundaries are not honored. Over time, this imbalance damages your sense of self, leading to feelings of invisibility, frustration, and emotional depletion. On the flip side, when exchange is equitable, relationships become sources of nourishment and affirmation, reinforcing your confidence and affirming your worth. Balanced give and take is a non-verbal contract of respect and care that sustains connection. A 2025 global meta-analysis published in Psychological Science reviewed hundreds of studies on social exchange and well-being. It concluded that people engaged in balanced relationships report over 40% higher life satisfaction, 30% fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety, and improved immune function compared to those involved in chronically unbalanced connections. The study highlighted that the perception of fairness, and not absolute equality, is what generates psychological health. History offers illuminating examples. Consider Eleanor Roosevelt, renowned for her tireless advocacy and support for millions, but who also mastered the art of balance in her personal relationships. She ensured her circle included those who both gave and received support, sustaining her emotionally through decades of activism and public life. Roosevelt's ability to balance contribution with receiving nurtured resilience, reflecting her profound self-respect and influencing how others valued and respected her. In contrast, lack of balance is at the heart of many failed relationships, chronicled throughout history and literature. The tragic tale of King Lear and his daughters reveals how disproportionate giving without gratified return breeds sorrow and loss. Lear's misplaced generosity without acknowledgement leads to betrayal and heartbreak, underscoring the timeless importance of balanced exchanges. Psychologically, balanced give and take anchors emotional security. Social exchange theory posits that human interactions are motivated by maximizing benefits and minimizing costs, and that perceived fairness sustains relationships. When balance is disrupted, attachment needs for safety and belonging feel threatened, eliciting stress responses. Neuroscientific research shows that unfair social exchanges activate the brain's anterior insula and amygdala, areas involved in emotional pain and threat detection. Similar to physical pain, everyday life offers countless scenarios. A friend who only calls when in need, a partner who rarely supports your goals, a colleague who takes credit without reciprocating effort. These imbalances chip away at self-respect through unvoiced hurt and accumulating resentment. To cultivate balanced give and take, begin by deeply examining your relationships with honesty. Who consistently supports you emotionally, practically, and mentally? Where do you feel depleted or taken for granted? What are your natural capacities for giving, and are they respected? How often do you seek and receive support or appreciation? Setting healthy boundaries defines the limits of your giving while inviting reciprocal exchange. Assertive communication, using I statements and clear needs expression, helps partners understand your expectations and fosters dialogue. For example, I feel overwhelmed when I'm the only one making plans. Can we find ways to share this? Models of nonviolent communication emphasize empathy and mutual respect. Balance also involves learning to receive graciously. Some struggle with receiving support or compliments, undermining reciprocal energy flow. Cultivating openness to receiving nurtures healthy exchanges that honor both parties. Culturally, balancing give and take challenges norms of constant self-sacrifice, particularly for women or caregivers socialized to prioritize others' needs. Reclaiming balanced exchanges is a radical act of self-love and social justice. Practically, consider scheduling regular check-ins with loved ones about relationship dynamics, recognizing unhealthy patterns early and taking corrective action, valuing and celebrating acts of mutual care and effort, practicing gratitude for balanced moments to reinforce positive cycles, seeking professional guidance if imbalances cause distress or conflict. The workplace exemplifies these principles as well. Teams with equitable contributions report higher morale and productivity. Leaders who foster balanced collaboration encourage innovation and loyalty. Conversely, persistent imbalance leads to burnout and turnover. In romantic relationships, balanced give and take correlates with satisfaction and longevity. Research in the Journal of Marriage and Family, 2024, found that couples reporting perceived equity in emotional and practical contributions were 50% more likely to remain together happily after 10 years, underscoring the crucial role of reciprocity in enduring love. The health benefits of balanced relationships are profound. Studies link supportive, equitable connections with lower cardiovascular risk, improved immune response, and enhanced recovery from illness. The physiological effects of mutual care reflect the biochemical impact of social bonding hormones like oxytocin. Imagine the ease of thriving in relationships where your contributions are matched by kindness and effort, where give and take flows naturally, and where your needs and generosity are equally honored. Such balance cultivates joy, trust, and empowerment. Begin today by reflecting on one relationship where balance feels off. Identify one small action to restore equilibrium, asking for support, declining overcommitment, or expressing appreciation for reciprocal care. Notice how this nurtures your self-respect and deepens connection. Balancing give and take is not just practical, it is a sacred dance of respect, love, and authenticity. It protects your spirit and invites others to meet you as an equal in the shared journey of life. Being authentic and staying real is one of the most courageous and liberating acts you can practice, yet it remains a challenge for many in a world that often prizes conformity over individuality. Authenticity means embracing your true self, your thoughts, feelings, quirks, strengths, and even flaws, and expressing them honestly without pretense or fear of judgment. It is a foundational pillar of self-respect, because when you are real with yourself and others, you honor your intrinsic worth instead of hiding behind masks or facades. Living authentically not only nurtures profound inner peace and confidence, but also draws genuine respect and deep connection from others. Psychology provides powerful evidence on the transformative benefits of authenticity. Research shows that authentic individuals experience lower levels of anxiety, depression, and stress, while reporting higher self-esteem and life satisfaction. A 2025 study published in the Journal of Counseling Psychology found that people who practiced authentic living felt 40% more resilient and were twice as likely to experience meaningful relationships compared to those who lived inauthentically to fit social expectations. Authenticity reduces internal conflict and cognitive dissonance because your actions align with your values, enabling you to navigate life with clarity and integrity. Why does authenticity have such profound impact? When you hide your true self or constantly adjust who you are to please others, you detach from your identity and truth. This mask-wearing drains your energy and creates a dissonance that feels like emotional exhaustion or emptiness. Conversely, authenticity is an act of self-love, acknowledging and embracing your uniqueness, and it creates a solid ground from which confidence and courage grow. Psychologically, authenticity builds self-trust, which is essential for making decisions aligned with your highest good rather than external pressures or fear. Throughout history and culture, authenticity has been celebrated as a sign of wisdom and strength. The philosopher Socrates famously declared, "To thine own self be true," emphasizing that the journey to personal and societal virtue begins by honoring your own nature. Similarly, in modern times, figures like Maya Angelou have exemplified authenticity through their life and art, inspiring millions to value their unique voices. Angelou's powerful writings and speeches embrace vulnerability and truth, teaching that staying real amid adversity is a profound source of empowerment and connection. Authenticity requires self-awareness, the ongoing practice of introspection and honest self-reflection. Delving into your values, passions, fears, and limitations helps you understand who you are at your core, apart from others' opinions or societal expectations. Some practical ways to enhance self-awareness include journaling, meditation, therapy, and meaningful conversations with trusted companions. This process of uncovering your true self lays the foundation for authentic living. Alongside self-awareness is self-acceptance. Authenticity is not about perfection, but about embracing the whole self, including the parts you may dislike or feel ashamed of. Self-compassion allows you to hold your humanity with kindness rather than harsh judgment. This acceptance fosters a deep sense of worthiness that does not depend on external validation. Psychologist Brené Brown highlights that vulnerability, the willingness to show your true self without armor, is integral to building authentic connection and resilience. Living authentically also calls for courage. It means stepping into the world without masks, risking judgment, rejection, or misunderstanding. But the rewards are profound. Genuine relationships, inner peace, and the freedom to pursue a life aligned with your values and desires. Authenticity invites others to see and respect you for who you truly are, cultivating trust and deep bonds. In interpersonal relationships, authenticity transforms connection. When you communicate openly and honestly, rather than through performance or people-pleasing, your relationships deepen with trust and intimacy. Being real encourages others to do the same, creating a positive cycle of genuine interaction. Studies show authentic communication contributes to relationship satisfaction and conflict resolution. Workplaces also benefit tremendously from authenticity. Leaders who bring their whole selves to their roles inspire trust and loyalty. Authentic leadership fosters creativity, psychological safety, and engagement, leading to higher performance and satisfaction. In personal branding and networking, authenticity differentiates you uniquely and memorably. However, living authentically can be challenging in a society with pervasive pressures to conform. Fear of rejection, cultural norms, workplace dynamics, or family expectations may tempt you to adopt personas to fit in or gain approval. Overcoming these barriers requires practice, support, and sometimes professional guidance. Here are practical steps to cultivate and sustain authenticity. Engage in regular self-reflection. Explore what matters most to you and how your actions align. Practice vulnerability in safe spaces. Share your feelings and stories with trusted others. Set boundaries to protect your authentic self from toxic influences or expectations. Challenge limiting beliefs. Recognize thoughts that undermine your true self-expression. Celebrate your uniqueness. Embrace quirks, passions, and perspectives that distinguish you. Seek authenticity role models and communities that inspire and support your journey. Accept imperfection. Authenticity is a lifelong process, not a fixed state. Imagine the freedom and joy of living without masks, where your actions and words are true reflections of your core being. Picture the respect and connection you cultivate through sharing your authentic essence. This way of being creates a powerful sense of alignment, purpose, and fulfillment that no external success or approval can replace. Embracing authenticity is a radical act of self-respect that transforms your mental health and relationships. It teaches you that your true self is enough, worthy, lovable, and powerful. Your authentic voice is your superpower. When you unleash it, you invite a richer, freer, and more meaningful life. Start today by identifying one small area where you can be more honest and real, whether expressing a feeling, setting a boundary, or pursuing a passion. Celebrate each step on this transformative path, knowing you are reclaiming your truest self. Celebrating yourself is an essential and transformative practice that fuels self-respect and nurtures a positive, resilient mindset. In a world that often emphasizes achievement over acknowledgement, taking time to genuinely honor your own efforts, progress, and uniqueness is an act of radical self-love. Celebration is not about vanity or arrogance. It's a powerful antidote to the negativity bias, the human tendency to focus disproportionately on mistakes, failures, and shortcomings. Psychologists affirm that consistent self-celebration rewires the brain to recognize and cherish success, leading to increased motivation, happiness, and emotional well-being. Why is celebrating yourself so critical to self-respect? When you actively acknowledge your accomplishments, no matter how small, you counterbalance the internal critic that downplays your worth and efforts. This creates a safe mental space where you feel valued and empowered. Celebrations send important signals to your nervous system that it's okay, even vital, to stand in your own brilliance and acknowledge your light. Without such reinforcement, the brain can erroneously perceive visibility and success as threats, instigating a retreat into self-doubt or invisibility. Scientific studies highlight celebration's impact on motivation and mental health. Teresa Amabile's research on the progress principle reveals that individuals who regularly notice and celebrate incremental successes, small wins, experience elevated mood and sustained motivation. This positive reinforcement stimulates dopamine release, the brain's reward chemical, enhancing feelings of pleasure and encouraging continued effort. This neurological feedback loop builds confidence and resilience, helping you tackle bigger challenges with optimism. Moreover, celebration helps reduce stress and combats burnout. Engaging in celebratory moments shifts focus from worries and negativity to joy and gratitude. This mental shift reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, allowing your body and mind to recharge. Regular celebrations, whether of milestones or daily efforts, act as buffers against depression and exhaustion, promoting a more balanced and flourishing life. The ripple effect of self-celebration extends beyond psychological benefits. Emotional health improves as you cultivate self-compassion and acceptance. Recognizing your victories affirms your identity as a capable, worthy person, reinforcing a positive self-image. This translates into greater courage to pursue your goals, engage authentically with others, and withstand setbacks. Self-celebration also fosters a culture of positivity and support. When you celebrate yourself, you inspire those around you to do the same, creating an uplifting environment that values growth and kindness. This cultural shift reduces dependence on external validation because internal validation becomes a reliable constant. The power of celebrating the process, not just outcomes, is crucial. Often, we fixate on major achievements and overlook the consistent, everyday efforts that fuel progress. Valuing persistence, learning, and courage nurtures resilience and sustains motivation. Whether it's showing up despite challenges, learning from mistakes, or taking small steps toward goals, these moments deserve acknowledgement. Real-world stories illuminate the profound effects of self-celebration. For example, Oprah Winfrey frequently speaks about the joy of acknowledging her journey and growth, emphasizing that celebrating progress sustains momentum toward dreams. Similarly, Maya Angelou's life radiates self-affirmation and honoring one's worth through both trials and triumphs, inspiring millions to embrace their own stories. Celebration can take many forms: quiet reflection, journaling, sharing joys with loved ones, treating yourself, or public acknowledgement. The mode is less important than the sincerity and regularity of the practice. Here are practical ways to nurture self-celebration. Maintain a success journal to record daily or weekly wins irrespective of scale. Pause after completing tasks to consciously acknowledge effort and achievement. Share celebrations with supportive friends or communities to amplify joy. Create personal rituals or rewards that mark milestones. Replace self-criticism with affirmations recognizing your progress and strength. Celebrate qualities like kindness, resilience, or creativity, not just tangible results. Engaging in regular self-celebration also deepens gratitude for yourself and life's unfolding gifts. Gratitude and celebration are interlinked practices that cultivate appreciation for the present moment, enhancing overall contentment. In contrast, neglecting to celebrate oneself fosters a cycle of dissatisfaction and diminished self-worth. When achievements go unrecognized internally, the brain tends toward negativity, lowering confidence and increasing vulnerability to stress and discouragement. Celebration is, therefore, a cornerstone of effective self-care and preservation. It signals a commitment to valuing and nurturing your spirit, creating emotional safety and empowerment that radiate outward. Imagine the transformation of your mental landscape when you routinely pause to celebrate your strengths, choices, and progress. Picture yourself standing proudly in your achievements and growth, your confidence compelling authentic connections and opportunities. Embark on this practice today by reflecting on one recent achievement, a completed project, a moment of kindness, overcoming a fear. Take a few moments to savor the success deeply, write about it, or share with someone who delights in your joys. Remember, you are worthy of celebration, not just for what you do, but for who you are. Your journey, resilience, and light deserve to be honored in every step. Celebrating yourself is a radical, beautiful gift you give yourself and the world, a beacon of self-respect that attracts positivity, joy, and respect in return. Embracing the 15 powerful ways to respect yourself and earn respect from others is not just a checklist. It's a transformative journey toward living with dignity, authenticity, and fulfillment. Each point, from stopping the exhausting cycle of begging for validation to celebrating your unique self, forms the foundation for a life aligned with your true worth and potential. Together, they build a resilient armor against negativity, self-doubt, and disrespect, empowering you to stand tall amidst life's challenges with grace and confidence. The wisdom of Socrates echoes throughout this journey. To find yourself, think for yourself. Respecting yourself begins with reclaiming your voice, your boundaries, and your time. When you stop chasing approval and begin setting strong limits, you declare that your presence is valuable. When you say less but mean more and think before you speak, you communicate with power rooted in clarity and intention. Refusing to entertain gossip, balancing give and take, and investing in yourself deepen your sense of worth and invite reciprocity that uplifts your spirit. Historical figures like Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, and Mahatma Gandhi remind us that self-respect is not passive, it is a courageous stand. Parker's refusal to yield her seat, Angelou's resilient authenticity, and Gandhi's unwavering discipline illuminate how respecting oneself fuels not only personal triumph, but profound societal change. Their lives teach that authenticity, self-investment, and self-celebration are revolutionary acts, Psychology affirms these truths every day. Setting boundaries improves mental health. Balanced relationships foster happiness. Authenticity reduces anxiety and deepens connection. Neuroscience shows that celebrating your wins triggers dopamine pathways that motivate and heal. Investing in your time and energy nurtures your nervous system and fuels sustainable success. This powerful web of evidence reveals that self-respect is both a gift and a responsibility to yourself. As you close this chapter, recall the wise words of author Brené Brown. Owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Embrace your story fully. Embrace your unique journey, imperfections, and strengths. Stand in your truth boldly, for every act of self-respect radiates outwards, shaping your life and inspiring others. The most profound respect begins within. When you respect yourself, others can't help but follow. This journey is not about perfection. It is about progress, showing up for yourself daily, choosing boundaries, practicing authenticity, and celebrating every step forward. So now, take a deep breath and stand with intention. You are worthy of respect, dignity, and love just as you are. Let this be your daily anthem as you walk forward with confidence, kindness, and resolve. To quote the poet Rumi, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." This is your life, your story. Respect it. Live it fully. Own your brilliance. The world awaits the magic only you can bring. Thank you for journeying through these lessons. Here's to a life lived with fierce self-respect and boundless joy. The best is yet to come. Welcome to the Insight Shark.